Hello fellow beaders. So this is our bracelet for this week, or my design tutorial for this week. It only uses 2 bead types. You're going to need some 3x4 rondelles and some 11/0s. Okay, so these rondelles are called they're just light blue. I've got these from Michael's here in the US. So any rondelle will do. You can use one that's a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. You may need different numbers depending on the rondelle size you're using, but you can also use rounds and fire polish in place of it. So I'd suggest using the 4mm, and you should get something very similar. These are Toho 11/0 beads that I'm using, and they are called Blue Slate. And here they are. Here's my little box. Oh, let's see. Make sure these are right up. Yes, galvanized blue slate, perma finish. So that means they're Toho's. And where did I purchase these from? I think these are also from Aura Crystals. And then I've got my clasp and some jumprings. I'm using a toggle clasp. Now this is 78 rondelles to make a 5-inch bracelet. So basically, not counting the clasp, this is 5 inches, and that is 7 units. And that should give you an idea of how many beads you're gonna need. And then of course I use 6-pound fireline is the thread, and a beading needle. Okay, well, let's get started. Okay, so to start off, what you're gonna do is pick up an 11, a rondelle, 11, rondelle, 11, rondelle. So 3 and 3 of each in alternating order, just like that. Go back through all of the beads. Just make sure you don't don't miss the 11s. That's easy to do here. And let's see. Okay, there. See, I'm having trouble. And just wanted to point that out to you. And I'm pulling the thread together, and then what you do is you bring the 2 ends together like so, and then tie a knot, and that helps secure the beads into a ring. So I'm just going to get this, complete the knot, and you should get that, and then just go into the rondelle and the 11 like so. And then exit out of a rondelle. And just like that. So here we go. And now I'm going to pick up an 11, a rondelle, 11, and another rondelle there, and one more 11. So this time it's going to be 3 11s, but only 2 rondelles. Then go back through the rondelle where the thread is exiting. Just like so. And what we're doing is we're making a ring. So we have, so note 1, 2, 3. These 3 rondelles are going to be part of the inner ring, and then the 2 rondelles here at the top are going to be part of the outer ring. Now you always want to continue building by exiting a rondelle that is in the outer ring. So in this case, I need to come all the way over to this rondelle, and that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go through the 11 and the rondelle next to it, and then through the 11 and the next rondelle. So as you can see, I'm within the inside ring. And then you repeat what we just did. So again, you're going to pick up 11, a rondelle, if I can, and then another 11, a rondelle, and an 11. And once again, you're going to go back through this rondelle. So this is where the thread is exiting. And go through it just like so. And that's what you're going to get. So as you can see, we're coming out of this. Now, to continue building, you just need to go over 2 this time around. So it'll vary depending on which direction the thread is exiting. It'll vary depending on, yeah, basically which direction the thread comes out. So now the thread is in the upward position here, and so we're gonna build this way. And so basically you're going clockwise and counterclockwise. Let me put it to you that way. That's a little simpler explanation. And you just have to kind of make note. It'll vary depending, and usually it'll alternate, but it also will vary depending on what unit you're at. So let me just bring in some more rondelles here. They are still on the thread. And we're going to keep building. We're going to have a total of 6. And so we have 4 on the inner and 3 on the outer. So it'll be a total of 6 on the inner and a total of 6 on the outer. And now to build the next one, you're going to pick up the same set of beads. So it's 3 of the 11s and 2 rondelles. There we go. There they are. And note that I'm going back around this rondelle. And as you can see, so as I'm laying the work down, I'm trying to do this in such a way that it's easy to sort of understand that you're going, in this case, I'm going counterclockwise. And in order to get to the inner rondelle, I have to come out of this rondelle to build. And so this time I'm going through 4 beads. Like I said, it's going to vary, and you just kind of have to pay attention. Usually it's going to go clockwise and counterclockwise. It's going to alternate between the 2 directions. And now I'm going to go through those 2 beads, the 11 and the rondelle there. And there we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need to add all of the beads for the next set. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, 5 actually. So again, 2 rondelles, 3 11s. Going back around. And as you can see now, we have to close this ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are in the inner ring, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the outer ring. I'm going to go through the 11 and the rondelle. Again, I'm still building from the center. So that is the thing you have to keep track of, is you want to build from the center. I'm going to pick up an 11 and only 1 rondelle and another 11. So this is going to be my 6th rondelle on the outer ring. And I'm going to connect this to this one here. Oop, don't get caught. All right, and there we are. So just like I showed, and then all we need is an 11 this time, because we have all of the rondelles that we need. And the last thing we need is an 11 to connect this rondelle to that one. And go through it. Just like that. And now what I'm going to do is go back through all the beads. I want to come back out of this 11. And I'm just going to reinforce this. And now I'm going to go through this 11 here. That's the one we added, the last bead that we added here. And now I'm going to connect all of the 11s to each other. So this 11 is going to connect I'm just going to go through all of them together. So you're not adding any beads, you're just going to connect the 11s. They're all separated, so we want this to kind of come together. And okay, that is done. Now what I'm going to do is I want to go through the rondelle. This 11 is connected to a rondelle, so I'm going to go through the rondelle here. And then the 11, and I'm going to make my loop here. So I'm going to pick up 7 beads here, 7 11s. So that's 4, 5, 6, and one more, 7. And go into just the 11 there. So basically this 11 is on the opposite side. So here's the thread where, this is where the thread was exiting, and I went around this way. And now I'm just going to come back around. So go through the rondelle and the 11. And if you can get through the next rondelle, do that. I'm just going to turn the work over. And basically I want to count up 5 beads. So this 11 here, and then that's 1. And I basically want to come out of the center bead. So there should be a total of 9 beads because we added 7 and there were already 2 there. Okay, that's 3, 4, and number 5 here. Okay, go ahead and we're going to make my diamond here. So we're going to start with 4. Go back through just the central bead. Oh, one of these is not letting the needle go through. So let's get rid of that one. Pick up a different one. Okay, that did not come out right. Go back out. That only came up with 3, so I dropped 1 in between. Okay, now I got my 4. Go back through the bead. Pick up an 11, or go through an 11 first. So we're in position. Now go ahead and pick up the 11 and go into the next 11. Repeat, pick up an 11, go into the next 11, and once again, repeat. Pick up an 11 and go ahead and go through this next 11. And there we go, we've got our loop for the clasp. And now I'm going to reinforce my diamond here. And we are back. Go through the last set of beads. Go down these beads on the sides. There should be 4, like so. Now for the next part, what we're going to do is connect all of the outer ring beads together. And so I'm coming out of that 11. Wow, I really keep going out of frame. I do apologize if I am out of frame. I'm coming out of this 11 here. I'm going to go into the next 11 and the rondelle. And then again, next 2 11s and the rondelle. I'm connecting all of these outer beads together. It's 2 11s and my rondelle. Two 11s, rondelle, and again these 2 11s here. The rondelle, and basically this is where we started when we came out, so I'm going to go back through those again. And now you want to come out of the rondelle right over here. And we're just going to work our way through. Before I do that, let me go ahead and trim my little tail thread there. Kind of get that out of the way. Okay, that is done. And now I'm just going to turn the work over a little bit so I can work up and make my way through. Okay, notice that I'm coming out of this rondelle and I have it facing upward. And if you have it facing downward, just flip it. Just turn it over. So if this happens, just turn it this way. It really doesn't matter, but this is the direction I'm teaching you in. And so I think it'll, if you're first learning how to do this, it'll be easier to follow if you follow my steps exactly. Stick out more of those beads. And again, we're going to continue building all of the units. So all of the units are connected to each other. And so what I'm going to do is, again, pick up the same set of beads I picked up before, which is the 2 rondelles and the 3 11s. I'm going to go back around that rondelle here. And that rondelle is an outer rondelle. So just note that's going to be part now of the outer ring, because that's an outer, it's an outer one on this side, and it'll also be the outer one on that side. And now, in order to keep building, go through an 11 and this next rondelle. And now, again, picking up the same set of beads. And there we go, one more 11 there. We got my 3. And now I'm going to come back out. Okay, so these are the 3 that are part of the inner ring, and that one are part of the outer ring. And now to stay in the inner ring and build more, I'm going to go ahead and continue into the next 11 and rondelle here. And again, pick up an 11, rondelle, 11, rondelle, and 11. Go back through the beads. Okay, now we need to get to this one because that is part of the inner ring. And once again, we are going to pick up our 5 beads that we are doing. So 2 rondelles with 11s in between. There we go. And now I'm going to go through this rondelle here again. Okay, now go through the 11 and the rondelle. And again, we're going to pick up the same set of beads. And go back through the rondelle here. Just like so. And then it's going to be 11 rondelle and then 11 rondelle again. Okay, so we already have our 6 inner ring rondelles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So pick up an 11 and connect it. You go through the next rondelle on the opposite side to connect those two together. And then to close off the ring, we just need an 11, a rondelle, and an 11. And now we're back over here to this rondelle. Go through that to close off the ring. And then just, I'm going to go ahead and reinforce this. Okay, now I want to go through the 11 and then I'm going to connect the inner 11s together. Okay, and we went all the way around, so I'm going to just go through one more 11 here. Then through the rondelle. And here we are. So we are going to now go through the 11 and connect all the beads in the outer ring together. Continue. So 11 rondelle and then the 2 11s and the rondelle. Okay, as you can see, I'm just going through the 2 11s and the rondelle each time that I go through the beads. Again, I'm not adding anything. And now one thing, these beads, the seed beads that I'm using, the 11s, are Toho. And so they're a touch bigger than your typical Miyuki 11s. And so if you find that the Miyukis are a little bit smaller than, or if you happen to be using the Miyukis, you can put a 15-0 between the 2 11s here, all the way around on the outer side. Okay, so now I want to make sure that I am going through all of these beads, and here we are. So now I'm basically in position. I'm coming out of that rondelle to build the next unit. So you're going to repeat the steps that we just did to build this unit. And you keep going until you get to the length you need. And then I will show you how to add this loop at the other side. Okay, so here is my bracelet. I've made several more units to complete it. I am currently coming out of this 11 right there, so I am going to go ahead and match my clasp loop to this side here. And to do that, I need to first go ahead and add my loop, which is going to be 7 beads. That's 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to go over to the 11-0 on the other side. There's my loop. Now I'm just going to go around this unit here, my tri-stitch unit, so into the rondelle. then the 11-0, then the rondelle over here, and oops, my thread just got caught. Here it is. Okay, now I want to come out of the 4th 11-0 in the group of 7, or the 5th if you count these 11s that were already there. But I'm going to go ahead and go through a couple of these and then the next 2, and that will put me right in position to add my little diamond. And again, it is picking up 4 11s, go back through just that central 11, go into the first 11, pick up an 11, go into the next 11, pick up an 11, go into the next one, and pick up an 11 and go into the next 2 11s. Okay, there we are. Now I'm just going to go ahead and reinforce. And again, going through. So as you can see, I'm just going through the beads a couple at a time. And as I've stated, you've heard me say that before, multiple times. And down the side here. Okay, now I can tie off my thread. I just want to make sure it's coming out of the right bead. So I didn't want to accidentally skip a bead. And now I'm just going to do a 1/2 inch knot. And pull that into the rondelle and then go through the 2 11s. And then do it again, do another 1/2 inch knot here. And go into the rondelle again. And I am just gonna go down into, I went through the 11 there and then into this rondelle and make my way up. So now I'm going to do a knot between the 11 and the rondelle there. And that just helps kind of weave the thread a little bit, and also makes our 3 knots. So let me just get through. Whoops, I dropped the needle. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, there we go. There is the completed bracelet. I am going to go ahead and trim the thread here. Okay. Time to add my clasp. Here's a couple of my jump rings. And I've got my toggle clasp is what I am going to add. So let me go ahead and get that done, and then I will show you the completed bracelet, but it's essentially done right here. Okay, here it is. I've added my toggle clasp, I've added a couple jump rings, and that is the completed bracelet. Well, I hope this wasn't too challenging of a tutorial, and I will see you in the next one.